Hi, everyone. As always, CSSA is grateful for an opportunity to be here and to have an opportunity to report and share some info with you all. To start, I wanted to talk about some of the current projects and accomplishments that we're working on. So if you remember the last time I was here, I had let you know that we're in the process of developing our policy agenda, which is the document that our board creates and adopts to help us outline our priorities for the year. So I thought it'd be appropriate to share some of those so you all have a feel for what our students have noted as the most important. There are three major areas to describe the focus of our work: internal affairs, campus issues, and legislative advocacy. The first is internal affairs, which is resulting in a complete overhaul of both our constitution and budget with the goal of increasing the effectiveness and impact of the work CSSA does so we can directly serve and support an even greater number. The second is university affairs, or campus-based issues, which is outlined in important areas like food security, sexual harassment and assault, support for undocumented students in dream centers, and addressing achievement gaps that exist within our student body. The third is legislative affairs, which includes initiatives to directly inform legislative bills and to create an even stronger presence at both the state capitol and start to establish our federal affairs program. On the topic of CSSA legislative advocacy, I'm excited to announce a recent victory in which CSSA's sponsored bill, a partnership between CSSA, the Academic Senate, and the CSU, was signed by Governor Brown. AB 798 creates a grant program that our campuses can utilize to bring more free, open educational resources to our classes and ultimately save students precious dollars on textbooks and other course materials. Knowing that this bill takes effect January 1st, we are working with the Academic Senate and the CSU to provide clear information about the program to the campuses. We are also working with our student to encourage every CSU campus and Senate to participate in the program and ask that our many partners, especially our campus presidents, can help us spread the word and ensure that this gets back to your campus. I think in addition to sharing information about this bill, it just notes that textbook affordability continues to be a very important issue to students, and I think an area that CSSA feels like we can be really effective in addressing. To move on to the sustainable financial model, even though it isn't on our agenda today, I think it's important that our voice is still in that discussion. CSSA has been privileged, very grateful to the Chancellor and those that have invited us to be in the task force and have our voice be heard. Our board has now talked about this report 3 times, and the plan is to pass an official that outlines, to be frank, our official, opinions or outlooks on the various aspects of this report. I don't foresee it being a yes or no, but much more in depth as it relates to the implications and impacts that this has on students, and also some of our feelings that look at the report comprehensively. So moving into that, and again, I had said we don't have an official report, I do think that there are some important things that I can note. So to of the financial hardships our institution faces, and that the discussion this report prompts is not only important but necessary. We support a proactive approach to addressing the challenges that jeopardize the CSU, specifically the aspects of the report that look at investing in initiatives that promote student success as a means of increasing retention and graduation rates are reassuring and exciting to see. As you can imagine, our students are wary about any discussion that involves increased tuition, but are more interested in being intimately decision-making discussions rather than taking an official stance at this time. The proposal of a facility fee has raised serious concerns, and though there's not an official stance yet, I can say with almost certainty that students will adamantly oppose any fee that takes the responsibility of paying for state-owned facilities away from the state. And that leads me to my next and most important point of the student viewpoint regarding this matter. Even more than these specific areas, our students are concerned about what this report means for the future of the CSU. This report is going to redefine public education in California, and there's fear that this could set the stage for even, and that the legislator will be absolved of their responsibility to fund the CSU. The CSU is about to embark on a journey that will require more collaboration, shared governance, and honest conversations that's ever been required of our institution before. And frankly, I think these past 2 days have shown that there is a lot of room for improvement. As this development and implementation process for the report moves forward, I think it's imperative to reflect on what has gone on regarding collective bargaining and the challenging discussions we were all a part of yesterday. CSA, again, does not have an official stance on CFA or the collective bargaining matter, but that does not mean that students do not have very clear feelings about this, as I'm sure you saw yesterday by the exceptional students who spoke. And since there seems to be so many people who are not part of our student body commenting on behalf of our students, I feel an obligation to my peers to follow up. Instead of talking about the specifics of the Fight for Five campaign or this matter in general, I want to talk about what I believe is at the heart of this matter, and that is leadership. Simply put, I believe that we can all do better, and that leadership is going to be required from every single one of us in order to create a culture where pragmatic, realistic, and above all, honest and respectful conversations guide everything we do. In the context of collective bargaining, this means accepting that there's limited resources and that the CSU, like every other public institution in this country, is operating with a budget that is not anywhere sufficient to truly meet our needs. It means realizing that the shortcoming is in the state and federal legislature and their lack of commitment to fully fund higher education. The 3 legislators that joined the CFA rally yesterday are just as responsible for providing the funds for the 5% increase you are asking for as everyone in this room. CFA, will you put the same amount of energy and resources you have into lobbying those elected officials as you have the CSU? I can assure you that our students will be at the Capitol in droves in the coming months, and we eagerly invite you to join us in our fight to procure the essential dollars needed to meet our ever-growing demands and to hold the people who have the ultimate power accountable. I want to talk about what I don't think leadership is. To CFA, leadership is not personal attacks. It's not signs with people's faces or rude comments or snickering or comments about chopped liver or disrespect, but rather abiding by the golden rule and treating other people with the same respect and dignity your platform is built on. It's not being so loud and disrespectful at your rally that there was a conversation here yesterday about food security that we couldn't even hear. After listening to countless comments about how everything you are doing is about our students, I found it hard to believe that entirely true after the experience in the afternoon. It was disheartening that you were not participating in the shared governance you're asking for, and that was shown yesterday when your voices were so loud they drowned out the voice of student at the exact same time you were using it to leverage your own argument. To the CO and trustees and campus presidents, leadership is not dismissal or indifferent to people's opinions, but rather listening and reacting and ensuring that people that you have power over feel heard and a part of the decision-making discussions that impact them. It means realizing that perceptions matter and that your responsibility is to provide understandable and factual information, even if you have to say it over and over again, and that is the only way to navigate situations that are as interconnected as the one the CSU faces. It means being brave enough to be honest, like some of our students were yesterday, and it also means that we respect honesty and that we treat each other with that respect when we have to have honest conversations. And it means that's especially true when you have power over other people. There have been so many references to what people deserve in relation to compensation and benefits, but what I'm asking of you on behalf of our students is to consider that what each and every one of us deserve is to be treated with respect and dignity, and it starts with how we treat each other within our CSU community. And that's where I want to end this report, is talking about community. We were in CSU Dominguez Hills this weekend, and to start, I was so touched and impressed by the story of the institution that there's this university that is literally introduced to a community to mobilize and educate and create social change, and that the students and the administration on campus believed in that, and they believed in that sense of community. We were together, the students of the CSU, when we found out about Noemi Gonzalez. It was humbling and touching and surreal, and more than anything, such a real reminder of what we are supposed to be doing here. And the fact that everything we should be doing is rooted in our students, but also rooted in goodness. And there are too many horrible things happening in the world to be turning on each other. That does not absolve us. Conversations go away, but I ask every single one of us to take a step back. Most important, and to realize that the CSU and our students are what it's going to take to address the kind of challenges, the stuff that took a student who was so bright and beautiful away from us in the future. So I appreciate the opportunity to speak here today. Everything I say comes from a place of respect, from a place of wanting to be brave and honest, and most importantly, to remind us that our students are what should be most important to us. So with that, I conclude my report, Chair Monville.
Thank you, Taylor, for those remarks, and a a good and powerful reminder. Thank you.